This building's coming down. I hear explosions. Now, this is not metal on metal. I hear explosions. So I am a 9/11 responder that firmly believes that Building 7 was taken down on purpose. You can see, you can hear the explosions. It was and I had never seen a detonation, but you can hear just explosions. And all of a sudden the building just pancakes straight down. Mind you, when I was out running the collapse of the South Tower, I'm looking at Building 7, and there's only fire, and you saw it in the movie, on scattered floors.
Yeah,
nothing
very
worth,
few.
Nothing worth collapsing a building. Nothing that would have collapsed a building.
And one never has, even if the whole place has been on fire.
So,
yeah.
I stood at ground zero till 11 o'clock.
Wow.
I drove myself home in my Jeep.
And where did you live at that point?
At that point, I was living in Garfield, New Jersey, in Bergen County.
Okay.
I drive myself home, and my fiance just started crying. I went to my fiance's house. I didn't want to be alone. It was the drive home. I was shaking. It was starting to hit me. It was just the day.
Yeah, you're running on adrenaline, and then it's always late.
The day was starting to hit me, and the bridge was closed, and the tunnels were closed. But I remember the guy from the tunnel telling me, "Where you go?" I said, "We're closed. The tunnel's closed." And I said, "Do you see what I'm in?" I said, "Do you see citywide EMS written on the side of this?" I said, "Well, here's my fucking driver's license. I live in New Jersey. Now let me through." And he let me through.
Oh,
He
that's
says,
so cool.
"No problem, sir."
Yeah.
And let me through. But they were stopping even emergency vehicles. I get home. I'm telling my fiance the story. She's crying. Her whole family's up, crying. The next day,
Because they probably didn't know what had happened to you that day. I don't know if you had been in touch with her.
No, the police department got in touch with her.
Okay. So at least they knew at a certain point you were alive.
The police department had gotten in touch with her. She had stepped out to the doctor with my little one because she was sick.
Okay.
But my mother-in-law had taken a phone call. She had seen NYPD, picked up the phone and said, this is New York City Police Department. We're calling about Charles Giles. We want to let you know he is alive, but he has sustained injuries, and he's in the burn center. So she already knew that I had been burned. She didn't know what I was like, and I had no contact with her because I had lost my Nextel.
Yeah, and they weren't really working that day anyway, right?
Well, my radio died.
Yeah.
The radio died, but I still had my
Thank you, Giuliani.
My Nextel, Giuliani. I liked them for once.
Hey, guess what I heard last week? Guess who the richest man in New York City is?
Rudy Giuliani?
No.
Bloomberg.
There you go, Bloomberg. Something's not right with that. It's just not right. It's like Gotham.
For a man that takes $1 a year salary and he's still the richest guy in New York.
It's just not right. I don't,
Excuse me.
Was the radios out because of too much communication?
Once the South Tower went down, we lost radio communications.
Oh, all the antennas were on the North Tower, right?
Yeah, but once the South Tower went down, we lost all radio communication. All the antennas were on the North Tower, but when the South Tower collapsed, we lost our company and half of the fire department lost radio communication because there were some antennas on the South Tower, some small antennas that we could feed off. They were called feeder antennas. They're feeder antennas. So I lost my division radio. They call it division radio. So the next day I go back to ground zero. I go to the office and say, "What's our game plan?" They're like, "We got to send everything. They need everything down there. Anything and everything we got. We're canceling all routine transports except for dialysis. Anything else, doctor's appointments are canceled. It's the day after a terrorist attack. All doctor's appointments are canceled. We're sending most of our fleet down there." We go down. I do my job for the day. Thus began my work at Ground Zero, where I stood until December of 2002, both as a paid worker and as a volunteer.
And through what month in 2002?
2001, excuse me, December 2001.
Okay.
I had seen and done enough. I told my boss I want off this assignment. And he said, "You could have had off this assignment months ago, Charlie." I said, "I've seen and done enough." I did more detail. I tagged body parts. I saw things that I cannot even discuss with the people in this room.
Yeah, no,
Andrea knows one of them. I just had a confidence with Andrea. I built a confidence because she's going to be writing my biography. And I saw.
Break that part, I guess.
We can't. I told you that. I'm mummified by the FBI on that part. I have a gag order on something.
Black boxes? Black boxes?
No.
Everyone's in
It involved.
No, I don't want to get you in trouble.
All it did was it involved a member of the flight crew and duct tape. I won't tell you the rest of what I saw. But
Did they suspend work at the site? Was
the
it
second
longer?
day, they were still raging fires. So, but there was still rescue work going on. There were still areas that firefighters were going. Only firefighters were allowed in. We were on the sides waiting for. But it was organized chaos.
Right.
All the ambulances that responded, meaning that there was ambulances now. AMR showed up that night. One of the things I left out. AMR Connecticut showed up with 25 ambulances.
Wow.
The next day we get this Mack truck I told you about that comes in from Ohio. I think I told you.
Not Ohio, Connecticut.
Connecticut. It was from Connecticut. We get this Mack truck that comes in. It made. You sure?
You told me about the Connecticut.
I told you about the Connecticut AMR, but Ohio, this truck comes in with a police escort, with a motorcycle escort.
Wow.
And the side of it opens, and there's these guys in black jumpsuits. They're urban search and rescue guys. So we were like, holy shit. So what we had done was, the ambulances were all getting designations, so we took masking tape, and we would just 15A, 15B, 15C, when we would get to the end of the alphabet, 16A, 16B, and we were putting it on the windshields. And that's how we were communicating with these ambulances. By then, they had gotten us more Nextels,
okay.
and we had given each ambulance a Nextel.
Okay.
Mine was gone. I had taken one of the Nextels that we had gotten. We had gotten a load of Nextels. The next day, we already had equipment from John Deere that was donated, the little golf carts that they use. And everything.
Right.
So anyway, the next day I see my mom. I want to get to 1236. And I'm telling my mom the story. And she starts crying. Now I'm with my fiance, and she's saying, Charlie, that number, 1236. And I'm like, what? And I said, that's the number of the guy that rescued me. That's all I know about it. It's 1236. And she keeps on, and I'm getting agitated. I'm hurt. Now I'm like, Mom, that's the number of the damn guy that rescued me. That's all I remember. And she says, she says to me, who the hell raised you? I said, well, you and Grandma. And she says, and Grandma's dead, right? I said, yeah. She says, what was Grandma's birthday? And I started crying. And anybody guess what my grandmother's date of birth was?
January 2nd, 1936.
December 3rd, 1906.
Okay. Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3, 6. So I firmly believe that my grandmother sent me that particular cop to save my ass.
Wow.
And that's all documented. It's all documented.
You know what? I'm a big believer in number things. I want a car based on just numbers. And actually 9/11.
I believe.
Did you know that?
Really?
It was a raffle, and they only sold 1,299 tickets. And my lucky number's 9, so they flipped through. It was for Big Brother, Big Sister program in New Jersey, and it was down in Stone Harbor. And I said, oh, my lucky number's 9, what do you have with 9 in it? And she said 1199, and it was 3 weeks before 9/11.
That's a local union.
Oh, really?
Local union 1199 is the largest nurses union in the city of New York.
Really? And this was 2003, and I had not fallen down the rabbit hole with 9/11 Truth yet, but I was totally kind of obsessed with the whole 9/11 thing, even though I just was. So it was very a big part of my life at that point. So I picked 1199. A month later, I won a Porsche.
Nice.
And it wasn't even a lease.
Yeah, half your luck.
Well, that's up to that point, I'd only won a gallon of ice cream in my life. So
But look what you have.
But the number. But it's funny talking about your grandmother. I felt my dead grandmother was in there and picked the number right out. That was.
So that number meant special meaning.
Wow, that's great.
Now, Greg had alluded to, did I know the guy that rescued me? I am going to tell you how I met him. You remember that after 9/11, excuse me 1 second. Honey, I got to call you back in a discussion here, okay? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.